In this video, let us learn how to develop Get API for a specific resource ID. So if you can provide instead of displaying all available resource for a specific resource, it has to be retrieve or fetch from the database depending upon the path variable ID. If you can provide an ID called 1, the department 1 details, it has to be retrieve or fetch. So for this purpose, the third one, we can able to specify get API specific resource. So we need to fetch the specific resource. Now go to service class. So we're supposed to write an abstract method. Department DTO get department. Now we need to pass integer. So ID we should pass as a parameter. Which is the ID we are passing as a parameter? The corresponding department. The department object should be returned. So save this particular one. Now go to department service IMPL class. We should implement this particular method. So when you are trying to implement this method, if you can pass ID as a parameter, the corresponding the department entity object is should return. Suppose if the ID is not available, if you can pass ID called 200, the 200 ID is currently not available in the database. In this case, it has to be provide some exception. So what kind of the exception it has to provide? For that purpose, we need to create a package called exception. We can create a class resource not found exception. Resource not found exception. So we have written a class resource not found exception. So this class should extend runtime exception. Here we need to write a constructor public resource not found exception. We need to pass a string as a parameter. Here super, we need to call the super class constructor message. So since this particular class has to control the response status, so we need to response status, the value is equal to http status dot not found. If the resource is not available, suppose if you can pass an ID called 100 is not available, so it has to provide an exception as not found, exception along with the status as not found. So now we can go to department service IMPL class. Now we need to provide department or repository, which is object name repository dot find by ID. Find by ID. In this, it returns optional department. Find by ID. We are passing as a ID. Dot or else throw. We are supposed to write a lambda representation here. If the resource is not found, so here we are supposed to return this particular. If the resource not found, new resource not found exception. The department ID has not found in the database. So this is the exception message. It has to be display the department ID. The department ID, suppose 1, or 100 has not found in the database. In the database, yes, we can save this particular one. So this one has to return. It has to provide department entity. It will return entity object department DEPT is equal to. Currently, the get department method returns the department DTO, but this or else throw it we are returning based on this one repository dot find by ID. This method is returns department object. So now we are supposed to convert return department mapper dot map to DTO. We are supposed to pass DEPT as a parameter. If the ID is not available, it will provide this particular exception. If ID is available, it returns a entity object. The same entity object we are passing as a parameter to map to department DTO. The reason the get department method returns department DTO. Save this particular one. Again go to department controller. So now at the rate get mapping departments we need to provide the path variable public response entity department DTO get specific department at the rate path variable integer ID. So now we are supposed to return new response entity DEPT service dot get department of ID we need to pass. The second parameter for response entity we need to pass HTTP status dot OK. Now save this particular one. After saving these particular changes, go to Postman. Now create one request, add request. The request name is display specific department underscore test case. Here we can find the URL now. The URL can be in this way: http localhost colon 9091 API slash v1 slash departments slash we need to provide the corresponding ID we need to supply. Departments, same thing, departments. The same resource name only we need to provide. So now copy this particular one. Provide the same URL in the Postman. So now if we can run, the department 2 record should be displayed. It's telling the department is not found. So we'll investigate now. So the department is available. Why it's telling the department is not found? Now static resource API v1 DPRTMA departments 2 it's telling. So now we can investigate the path API v1 departments DPRTMENTS departments 2. It is a get mapping. The 9091 we are using. Path variable integer ID. So now stop this particular server. Again restart one more time. Since we are using dev tools, we expected it has to be restart automatically. So we will investigate now. So now if we can send the request, now yes, it was providing properly. Actually, we have added a dependency called Spring Boot DevTools. What are the changes we are doing? It has to be restart our Spring Boot project automatically, but it is not happening properly. So we'll see. So currently the dependency is not working as we expected. We'll see now. We'll see later. Okay. So now, so if we can provide one more ID called 4, it was providing the corresponding record. Okay. Thank you.